Hannah, good afternoon. Today in the hot seat we have me. My name is Kelly and I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours here on the Waterhole show, coming to you live and interactive from loads of places actually. Such a pleasure to have access to all these fabulous cameras in so many different locations. So welcome, thank you all for joining us today. Your presence and input is hugely appreciated. Please do remember that you are all a part of the show. Obviously, look at this fabulous selection of zebras, eland, giraffes, there's some birds in there, are the main features. But all of you that are joining us are incredibly important to keeping the conversation going. And I love to hear from everyone out there that's joining us. We will definitely get through as many questions and comments as possible. Please do send them through to wildearth.tv/questions. Ollie the Oxpecker, you're looking forward to the waterhole. As am I, Ollie the Oxpecker. Brilliant name. Please send your questions and comments through via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. Mike, indeed, it is waterhole time with the big boys. Big boys indeed. You are all very, very welcome. Here at Aldonio Lodge up in Kenya, there was rumours of a view of Kilimanjaro from here the other day. I have yet to notice or spot this, but I keep forgetting to look. Oh, it's quite frenetic here at the moment. Many comings and goings. Oh, don't walk in there, zebra. You're going to make it all dirty. These times of somewhat lack of resources, everyone must get along nicely. See this male giraffe, is he going to drink with everyone else here? I suppose you've got to do what you've got to do, really. Normally the wind has to be right, it has to be silent, it has to be the right time of day. Giraffes are often very, very selective about when they do choose to place themselves in this rather awkward position to drink. Incredibly vulnerable. They can snap that neck back up, or rather that neck snaps up on its own as soon as that downward force is released, but still very, very vulnerable, and it would make them less speedy to make an exit think we have seen a giraffe get a good bump from one of the elephants. I'm sure it was here before. Ooh, another one's going to go down. Lydia, hello. Thank you very much for joining us. Lovely to have you here. Please, if anyone has not sent anything through before, today is the day. We will get through as many as we can. Lydia, fascinating question. Have I ever seen an elephant with a carcass stuck on his tusk? No, I have not. Lydia, have you? I would be fascinated to hear if you have. I'm just going through my somewhat confusing memory bank of images I have. I think I would have remembered that. No, I have not. It's not impossible. Well, maybe I'm just trying to think, because there's not often much left in the bush from fatalities, whether they natural or predator induced. They are normally finished up pretty quickly. I think that probably the longest leftover, or the most common long-term remains I've seen in the bush are those big buffalo skulls. They often hang around for quite a long time. Elephant bones, they're also some of the more commonly seen remnants. I've seen a couple of impala bone legs up in trees before. But all our tidy up crew normally does an excellent job of tidying up, really. I'd be fascinated to hear if anyone has heard of that, though. Eskia, you're saying wish it could rain so everyone here in Aldonia could have access to water. We are certainly getting to that point. Certainly in my area of operation around the Lowveld, around the Greater Kruger area, it's very, very dry at the moment. We are all starting to wait patiently for the summer rains to start, as I'm sure are lots of these animals. It makes me sad that I don't quite know what the sort of rest of the topography is. I've never been to Eldonio. I've never been to Kenya, actually, unfortunately. But I'm not sure sort of what the topography is. I'm sure there would be natural pans forming around these areas after there was good rain. EJ, that's brilliant. What a lovely comment. Thank you so much for taking the time to send that through. You're saying, tell me why it is that I can't read the same book twice. Yeah, every lunchtime I watch the same holes with the same animals but never get bored. Nature is beautiful. I completely concur, EJ. I have also got a fairly low boredom threshold, and I have been watching animals pretty much full time for 12 years. So, but you learn. I think it's, EJ, I think it's being open to learning and seeing new things, EJ. Let's go across to Serendella. There was a big herd of buffalo there yesterday, and I'm quite keen to see if that poor harassed hippo has made his way back in there. So let's scoot across to Serendella. Hey, look at everyone. There's more buffaloes here. Another elephant swim happening. We had an amazing elephant paddle session at Chemby Elephant Park yesterday, but let's watch these guys. How lovely. But yeah, EJ, I think it's how much you're prepared to look, or how carefully you're prepared to look. I know I've got friends in not so much in South Africa, but certainly in England, and they sort of ask about the bush, and it's like, well, you sort of drive around and look at elephants, but then they say, well, what do you do when you've seen an elephant? Why would you need to see more elephants? Or why would you need to, look at extra things? Because there's extra. Look. These elephants are going to shout at these buffalo. Eee. There's lots of young elephants here. That big buffalo bull She's gonna... Oh, they're just gonna go around the other side. What lovely manners. You see new things all the time. You learn new things all the time. It's one of my favourite things about this show, EJ, is that people sending in questions and thoughts. Like I've never considered an elephant with a carcass on its tusk. And Lydia just asked me if I'd ever seen one. So I've never even given that a thought, that could be a possibility. And I think all the time you're open to learning or understanding more or watching more, you're never going to get bored.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
If he's got a name yet, I'm assuming it's a bull. But I've seen him gently escorted out of this pan several times now. Maybe he's given up and just decided to go somewhere else because it's easier. I'm going to be honest, I didn't check those cameras last night. I'd be interested to know if these buffalo have left and come back or they've just been hanging around here the whole time. I would assume they've left and come back, but we all know the first three letters of assume. I'm just going back over my homework while we're here. I was indeed, I checked out, I don't know how I got onto the topic of how dogs and cats drink yesterday, and I did go and investigate further. And wow, it almost looks like there's more here than there was yesterday. So dogs and cats do drink differently, and dogs don't just shove their tongue in and splatter it everywhere, which is something I only learnt recently. So go and have a look at a slow motion clip of a dog drinking and a cat drinking. They drink differently. That was some homework. Wow, this is a big group. Is that mud on the camera? Yeah, maybe that hippo's thought better of it. And Stephanus, nature watching animals is fascinating. There's a behaviour tweak in every move. There is, right? There totally is. And I've said it many times. But I would I would prefer watching ants moving leaves, or I spent half an hour watching a day solitude digging a hole a while ago. It was amazing. I didn't actually have a phone or camera or anything with me, which is unusual in this day and age. It was actually an absolute pleasure, and I sat a little bit away because I don't really like solifuges. And I watched a solifuge dig a hole for like 30 minutes. And I would much rather watch that these days than a sleeping lion, because it's the behaviours and the emotions behind the behaviours that I really enjoy these days. Agnieszka, you say they look like they're having so much fun. I think they are. Once you learn to look and not just look, but really see what's in front of you, it all becomes so much more. There's more depth, there's more understanding. I find it fascinating watching relationships between different individuals, different species. Jason, buffaloes and elephants indeed. There is no more room at the pan. Although that waterhole Aldonio may beg to differ. But there are certainly lots of visitors here today. And I do say it again and again as well, but we might have had a few head shakes, or there might be a little chase in here. But how everyone is mostly respectful of everyone else's space. These animals have got enough to worry about. They've got to find food and water and mates and keep their babies alive and all the rest of it without having to... Let's see. See, that elephant hasn't even asked those buffalo to move back. They've just moved back. And is this separate families joining here? Elephant herds or elephant families will, in seasonal times of pressure, join up. And just everyone just get along with it. These buffalo need to pick up a bigger little stand of trees, I think. I don't think everyone's got a bit of shade. I've watched buffalo before and lions. They will sort of almost move around a shady point as the sun moves. They sort of scoot round to stay in the shade. This is not too far from where I am, and it's warm today, but we aren't super hot as yet. These are lovely close-up shots from this camera. Sometimes it looks like they're going to walk right into the camera. I hold my breath. It's like, I'm going to knock the camera. Susan. Hello, Susan. I'm glad you enjoy my comments, and I'm glad I make you laugh. But Wild Earth does solve problems. It also raises questions, Susan. why is this buffalo doing this? Have I ever seen a carcass on an elephant? But I've just been reliably informed that a Tembe elephant picked up a carcass pelvis. According to Limbri, I'm going to look. Okay. That is indeed an elephant holding what appears to be an elephant pelvis. I'm really bad with skeletons and bones. People often ask me, what bone is that? I'm like, I haven't got a clue. But that is certainly an image of a very large pelvis. Elephants will sometimes pick up and touch bones of deceased elephants. It's how common it is, but it's certainly been witnessed on many occasions. Lydia, the way I took Lydia, the wording was, have you ever seen an elephant with a carcass stuck on its tusk? The image I got from that was like a impala carcass or something like that sort of stuck. But they will often, there's many records of elephants picking up and touching bones. See, this is, how often do you get to see an elephant from above? And it's nice. Oh, look at those ears. No, stay there, little elephant. If you look at the back of those ears, go and show us. Open your ears. You'll be able to see just how thin that skin is behind there. You'll see the network of veins running through the back of the ears. Thinnest, I believe, is the thinnest coverage of skin anywhere on an elephant.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Mpho Muthusi Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed is a dog. Okay, no, wait. My first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was this Cedric when we had Mulwati and TP on a waterhole kill. I think we have to cut it.
That is brilliant.
Ria, you say the best kind of roadblock? Absolutely. Look at this.
Hello, girls. Out here, every wild moment matters, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel, ad-free 24/7, where you can even rewind and watch something again. Get access to behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and access to early travel offers. It is the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Know and cheat and check. So thank you, Recycle Teenage UK. I'm going to add that to some homework, and I will do some checking around various Bovidae taxonomic classifications. Okay, I was checking the dog's drinking. Oh, I was also sort of two different sections of homework. Eland leg stripes. The best I could come up with was indeed a combination of camouflage and follow me signs. One was that if a predator's in the grass, rather than seeing just legs, they see a stripe. But that feels weird to me, because legs in grass with then a horizontal stripe across it would almost make it more obvious to me. But you know, that's one happy buffalo, hey? Someone did ask earlier, I think it was Erica, can you tell the difference between male and female buffalo by their colour? If you look at this is definitely a male buffalo, and his front half is black and his back half looks more brown. So, not really. Oh, can't see anything now. Sometimes the females or youngsters will be slightly more pale, but if you see that bull that was just facing us, he was like almost two-tone. But yeah, eland leg stripes. Excuse me, elephant. Oh, I want to squish that mud. Look how nice and inviting that mud is. Don't. She rubbing on the tree the camera's in. Let's see if the camera moves. Eland leg stripes. Disruptive stroke camouflage. Or the other one was a follow me sign for young animals whose heads are lower, might be able to see the stripes. But yeah, I'm not totally sure if anyone's really worked it out. Or the only way you could probably work it out would be to find out, to do a really long study, and if you sort of covered those leg stripes to find out if babies got lost more, or that sort of thing. But they were the best responses I could come up with. Oh, wow. I'm just reading the story from Super Mongoose. Check that chill boy. That's one happy buffalo. I'm going to tell you this story from Super Mongoose here about a solifuge, but I'm going to have to read it. Super Mongoose, you agree about the story of solifuges. Lataba Rest Camp, the bathroom was fully occupied with German tourists except for one shower cubicle. I asked and they said there's danger in there. So Super Mongoose went in to have a look. There's a small red solifuge in the corner of the shower. I decided this was not danger and showered. And after a short while, no, I can't read that. Oh no, I can't. I'm struggling to read that. I don't do well with solifuges. After a short while, I found something run up my leg. The solifuge climbed up my leg, obviously not liking getting wet. I shook my leg and it fell onto my big toe. Out of shock, the solifuge took a small bite with its mandibles out of the knuckle of my toe and ran off. This makes this solifuge seem really personable to me. No bleeding or painful, but after a couple of days later, it was very much infected. And you read later that there was harmful bacteria on solifuge's mandibles. I'm very sorry you got bitten by a solifuge, and I'm even more sorry that you got infected. But the thing I'm most sorry about is that it ran up your leg in the shower. Oh no! They scuttle. I don't do well with solifuges. You know, if a snake slithered across I'm sitting on my patio now, if a snake slithered across, I'd sort of try and work out what it was, sort of go, oh, there's a snake. Try and keep an eye on it till it left. If it was a spitting cobra or a mamba, I might sort of make my way inside. what other things might, if there was a rain spider, I'd sort of, a big baboon spider, I'd sort of go, oh, it's over there. I'd sort of go, oh, look at the baboon spider, and maybe take some pictures of it and maybe gently escort it out of the way. But if a solitude scuttled across this patio now, I would probably squeal and stand on the sofa like a, I shouldn't say like a girl, that might be offensive, like a person that was very scared of solifuges. Oh, I'm sorry it got infected, Super Mongoose, but the idea of a solifuge riding up my leg in the shower makes me deeply uncomfortable. Oh, I really enjoy the level of this camera here, how close the animals often get to it. See, and check that respectful distance. Let's shoot across to Camelthorne. There was a brilliant interaction there with elephant and it was a tiny baby hippo yesterday. But I think we might have someone coming down for a drink across here. Wow, look at that. Oh, let's just listen to this sound for a minute. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. Listen, it almost echoes when there's this many zebra here. Shame, Doug, you're saying the place is ruined now for your poor hippo. I'm sure he will head his way back to that Serendella soon, Doug, fingers crossed. Let's just watch. Oh, wildebeest incoming. Someone asked a while ago, how often, I don't know, who makes more noise, male or female zebra? And it does seem it's very noisy when there's these big groups, but I think there's lots of communication happening when these big groups of zebra come together. Look at those wildebeest taking the same path. Which way around the tree are they going to go? Incoming! I've seen this many zebra here once before, and I was waiting for them to sort of get a system going of coming down one way and going up the other way, but it didn't happen while I was watching them. And Kathy, I didn't need to know that. But thanks. South Africa apparently has 107 endemic solifuge species. They're cool. I enjoy watching them from an elevated position at a distance. Apparently, I was away a while ago, and apparently there was a giant solifuge on the outside of one of the windows. But yeah, it's I would never hurt one, but I don't want them within sort of 2 meters of me, really. Not when if they're still. It's when they scuttle. If anyone doesn't know what a solifuge is, carefully look one up, but watch how they move, and then see how you feel about them. Tanya, you're asking, how does the social structure of zebras work? Tanya, the general way zebra social structure works, it'll be a sort of family group. There'll be a stallion, so there'll be a male. He will have a harem of females, and they will all have their babies. And often the females, sometimes females also leave, but males will leave and go off and create their own families, and the females will stay. Sometimes there are kind of takeover bids, but the general family structure is male, females, and their babies, one male. But this is different. In dry seasons, there won't be one stallion who's in charge of all these. I don't think, anyway. It will be a culmination of families coming together and making use of the resources, because that's what they've got to do to survive. When the males reach sexual maturity, I think when they're around about 2-ish or something like that, 2.5, they will. I'll tell you a story. What I was told when I first moved here, someone told me a story that when the young males are cast out, he will try and find another group of zebras, and he will challenge the stallion, and they will fight. And if the stallion or the head of that herd deems that it was a good fight, he may give away one of his younger fillies for the young male to take away and start his own herd. And I thought, that's really nice and gallant, and that's a really nice story. But I since found out later it doesn't quite work like that, and often the younger males will just sort of steal a female and basically chase her out of her family group and chase her away and take her with him, which isn't quite as romantic. But that is the general structure. But most animals, or many animals, their social dynamics change significantly depending on the season, depending on food availability. Lots of animals' social dynamics will change also depending on the season, as per reproductive cycles. There are lots of ebbs and flows around and through. Impalas actually have, I think I once read somewhere, they've got like almost 5 set, not sort of set, but more than 2, because what we normally believe is when during the rut, the male will have a group of females and the others will live in a bachelor group, and then the bachelors swap, come in, take over a herd, and they're the sort of out of the breeding season. Everyone gets on much more easily. Elephants making an entrance, way scatter. I can't remember where I read it. There's sort of 5 social dynamics of impalas, but there's often sort of general set structures, and then they often fluctuate, Tanya. So that was a really long-winded answer.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
I don't think these four are going to hang around if he comes over. Look at that size difference. Look at her looking over her shoulder. No, thank you. Checking. I feel like this group of four is not... Run away. Shame. I feel like that group of four wasn't quite complete. Maybe they're part of another family group. They could have been. But I was struggling to get a scale to see if that was... Okay, what's happening here? So this is a... Maybe that's more of the family group over there to the right. See, these elephants want to come and drink, I think. Oh, that is a big elephant bull. Oh yeah, there is more than that family group of four. Oh, picking up pace. What's the plan, boy? Oh, he is enormous. That's the biggest elephant I've seen for a while. No one is hanging around there. He doesn't look like it, you know, is particularly I don't really like using the word aggression anymore. I don't tend to use the word, it's not an aggressive animal, but possibly an animal showing aggressive behaviours, because emotions drive behaviour, and that animal will be doing what it's doing because of how it's feeling. Is she just give him a little front down there? Stay away from my baby, maybe? Mike, you're saying, was it excitement or aggression when they came to the water? I wouldn't say it's aggression. A bit of excitement. They were also going downhill as well. That's a lot of that's a young bull there, just on the right. And you see what a proper big boy looks like, little guy. It was a little bit of a chase to get the other animals out of the way. I think there was a bit of excitement. It was a little bit of a everyone else get out of my way, and a little bit of gravity and momentum, I think. See, I think that group wanted to go and drink from that inlet, but with this big boy present, see, I can see. I'm trying to see if this bull is in must. I can't quite work it out from here. He does have that temporal fluid on his face, but that isn't, you will often see that in must bulls, but you will also see it. Look how upset this girl is. I think she wanted to go drink. But you'll also see it in females. For me, those temporal gland secretions are more an indication of emotions rather than just a state of must. Well, it's carnage here today. This is a lot of herbivorous biomass present today. Vince, you agree? The place is jam-packed. It is today. Jess, you're saying Botswana Ellies look sicker than ones from South Africa. There are some, and you are right, there is definitely genetic differences between, look at now these elephants are chasing these zebra shame. There are genetic, and I love the way you call them sicker. There's some huge bulls in Etosha, in Namibia as well. I've seen some amazing pictures. There's some monster bulls up in Kenya. There's definitely some genetics that do come into play, the geographical differences between individuals of a particular species. I'm sure those elephants would have preferred to come and drink from... Elephants do prefer clean water if they can get it, for obvious reasons. But as a result of this monster bull loitering, they were not prepared to get in there. I can't... I'm looking for, in this elephant, I'm looking to see if his between his back legs are wet, which is a sign that I always, that's it, wet back legs, which is urine leakage, and behaviour are the two things I look for to establish if a bull's in must, and he seems quite chilled, and I couldn't quite work out if his back legs were wet there, so I guess we'll never know. But let's go across to Tembe. I would love to see what's happening over there, but it's certainly pumping at Camelthorne today. We had such an epic elephant swim party here yesterday. It looks like they've been in again today. They had a blast in here yesterday. We were here for ages. Jason, you're asking, are those flocks of quilias? I wasn't looking, to be honest. It could have been. Quilias are the most numerous bird on the planet, I believe. So it could well have been. What is this guy doing? But Jason, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the birds. But they do form. These are also bulls, but like not even a patch on that other guy. That young boy with his back to us looked like a small boy. Having a good old scratch after being in the water. I love watching these bulls interact sometimes. Dom, that's another interesting question. Can elephants get piles? Anatomically, yes, I guess. Whether or not they do, I don't think I've ever seen or heard of an elephant with piles. And so anatomically, I would say, I guess it's possible, but whether or not it does happen, I don't know. I've never seen it. I tell you what, that'll give me something to do. I will add it to my homework list, Dom. Along with different geographical buffalo types and their taxonomy, I will add, can elephants get piles? To me, I know it's like an inflammation of things. And I think inflammation, like in general, is caused by, I'm not just talking piles inflammation, but like an irritant of some sort. And elephants, if something's not good for them, they won't eat it. So whether or not they would do anything to cause, I don't know, I'm flailing around in there now, Dom. I think I'm going to back away from that and add it to my homework list. EJ, you can stay. Thank you for helping me out of that one. You are saying elephants don't get piles, but they make them. 100% EJ. Yeah, I think you can stay. You got me out of that one nicely. Thank you very much for your support and your input. See, I'm watching that elephant poop really carefully now. Possibly too carefully.
This unfolds in front of you.
My full name is Emojis. best part of my job. It's coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, and I'm very fast.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every safari live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
I'm not sure if yesterday's, maybe there was one before yesterday that I missed, but I'm not sure if yesterday's epic swimming session has now encouraged everyone to go in there. But look at this. This elephant is having an absolute blast. Look how pink he is behind those ears. Did you get a glimpse then of, look. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the microphone. When he opens his ears like that, you can see how pink and how thin that skin is behind there. We've got a big guy joining now as well. Are you going to get right in there? The one that's in the water really has got very pink behind his ears. It's just a difference in colouring, really. Just a different amount of melanin. You do sometimes see elephant calves born they're called pink, but very, very pale, very low levels of skin colouring. They must suffer terribly with sunburn. Another, on the topic of sun, I took another run at the does fur, or indeed someone asked yesterday, do crocodiles change colour in the sun? And I was asked a while ago, does fur change colour in the sun? And I still haven't quite. I did read one piece about crocodiles changing colour in the sun, but then changing back again when they cooled down. But I still haven't been able to confirm if there are indeed any fur or crocodile keratin, skin, scale colour changes permanently caused by the sun. I tried again for a while last night to establish the correct answer and was still pretty much unable to conclude. See, there was a family in here yesterday, and now it looks like these boys are starting to get in on the act as well. Look how clean those tusks are. Oh, what shiny clean tusks you have. Kathy, multitasking elephants indeed. There's been lots going on these cameras the last couple of days, especially with the elephants and especially water-related activities. Khan, hello. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Australia. I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you for getting involved, commenting, and being a part of the show. Hannah, you are asking, do elephants allogroom? That's another very insightful question. To me, allogrooming is two animals of the same species actively partaking in grooming activities with one another. Like my typical example of allogrooming is possibly two zebras, where they've got their mouths on each other at the same time, or impalas also. I'm trying to think of what I've actually seen. See, to me, elephant grooming is more rubbing and scratching, often on things, or they will use their own trunks to like scratch behind ears. I'm not sure, but they will sometimes sort of help tend to each other. But it always looks like more of a touching thing to me, Hannah, than active grooming. They will certainly regularly touch members of their family group with their trunks. To me, sort of grooming comes with like, it feels like fur, and I know elephants do have sort of hairs on them. I definitely think there's mutual physical touch and connections, but whether or not I'd call it grooming, I'm going to say yeah, because they touch each other. Who am I to say whether or not they believe it's grooming or not? But they do definitely touch each other, which they may view as grooming. So I'm going to say yes. Dark Main Lover. If that's not a typo from FC, I have got no idea what a Charlie horse is. You're asking, do elephants get Charlie horses? I don't know what a Charlie horse is. I'm going to openly admit to investigating as to what that is in an electronical fashion. I've never heard that phrase in my life. It was not a typo. It's basically cramp. I've never heard cramp called a Charlie horse. I'm now going to find out why it's called a Charlie horse. Cramps being called Charlie horses likely dates back to the 1880s and emerged from informal American sporting culture. That might have come from a lame horse in a... Oh no, that's all very... I don't know how true any of that is. That might just be electronic resources making that up. I'm not going to repeat that. Again, Dark Main Lover, physiologically, yes. They have muscles, therefore they can spasm. somewhere in the back of my brain, I'm thinking that muscle cramps are caused by abnormalities in... I've got salt in my head. Whether or not you've got, like, it's a salt deficiency or something. Physiologically, dark main larvae, yes, they could get cramps because they've got muscles. Whether or not they do, possibly. On the odd occasion, I've seen an elephant sort of walking a bit funny and then they've walked okay again. Whether or not that was from cramp, I don't know. It could have been a dead leg if they've been sitting on a leg or resting a leg or something. Look at this big bull supervising these two youngsters. Oh, you're so silly. Go on, boy, get involved. Get in there. I guess the only way we'd really know if they got cramp would be to... If I saw an elephant walking funny, I'm never going to know why it was walking funny unless we had sort of electrodes on it or we were able to image what was going on in their muscles at that time. It does make me think, though, that lots of sort of human ailments, like we've been talking about piles and cramps, and we were talking about bunged up noses yesterday and elephants, might be more prevalent in things that are not natural or might be caused by things that are not conducive to optimal conditions. Inflammation, viruses causing nose snot or congestion, and ultimately these animals are living in completely natural conditions, well, as far as we're aware. Which may be why they don't develop as many conditions caused by unnatural circumstances as humans might. Wild hypothesizing from me there.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times, it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
Some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
You know, people. I was listening to a brilliant podcast a while ago by a very talented behaviourist, and they said they were once told that wild animals don't have time to play, and they disagreed with this strongly, and they only did things that would benefit them in further life. This will also, these two young bulls, if they end up, no one knows where they're going to end up, but there will be some sort of understanding, communication going. If they did end up, I mean, these two aren't going to get breeding rights over these big guys for a long time yet. But definitely developing lines of communication and understanding of one another, but also a lot of play behaviours. Lion Lloyd, thank you so much for being a part of the show, Lion Lloyd, and thank you very much for subscribing. You're new, and I'm glad that you found this channel. You're an ex-Zimbabwean for 55 years now, and you're living in the UK, and you miss the wildlife. Your presentation is wonderful. I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Lion Lloyd. The UK and Zimbabwe are indeed worlds apart. I've never lived in Zimbabwe, but I am aware of some of its beautiful nature there, incredible national parks, and I've lived in the UK for many years. There are some beautiful natural areas in the UK, Lion Lloyd, if you need a bit of a nature hit. There are some lovely open spaces. If I'm there for any length of time, I always try and find an open space. The weather doesn't help there, but you are very welcome to the show, Lion Lloyd, and we hope to be hearing from you again frequently in the future. You are always welcome. That woolly next talk. They just sort of walk out the way of those elephants, don't they? I wonder if that's got anything to do with... I wonder if it's got anything to do with that breeding herd that was in here yesterday. I've very rarely seen these big boys in here, but times are changing. Monkey see, monkey do, or elephant see, elephant do maybe. Let's go across to Shalati. I haven't been over to Shalati for a little while. I think last time I was there I was actually on the bridge. I actually went across the bridge 3 times. It was so much fun, and I worked out I was going the wrong way. But we won't talk about that. We have seen buffalo here a few times, but today is definitely the day for the elephants. Elephants everywhere. So these reeds aren't the sort of, they're not really reeds like river grass stuff, I can't think of the right word. They're not super nutritious. You don't often see elephants feeding in them when there's grass or lovely leaves to eat, but they will utilise, well, all animals will utilise whatever they need to utilise in times of hardship. If anyone is new to the show, I'd recommend going back and having a look at this camera, or any clips you can find of this camera back in sort of, well, when was that second lot of rain? January, February time. Looks like a completely different place. And it does fascinate me every time the seasons change, every year. By this time of year, I've forgotten what it looks like when it's all green and lush, and then it changes and it morphs and it's dry, and yeah, every year I'm fascinated and beguiled by the change in the seasons. Oops, sorry. Just banged the microphone again. It's actually quite warm. I'm just going to have a drink of water, please excuse me. Had a drink of water out of my Kruger Park drinking bottle, actually, as we sit here and watch Kruger Park live and in the flesh. This is a lovely little breeding herd here, actually. This to me is what a breeding herd of elephants would sort of typically look like, sort of numbers. That group of 4 felt a bit odd to me at Camelthorne, but not impossible. There are many cases of just a female and a calf will break away from herds and hang out on their own. It's not common. Hanru, you are asking, how big can elephant tusks get? Really, really big, Hanru. My understanding of the definition of a tusker was always, and I learnt from the Letaba Elephant Museum, ivory of over 50 kilograms, so one tusk 50 kilograms. That's a big tusk. There are, old 1 ton that we've seen a few times at Oldonio, he almost has to lift his head up to walk. If you want to have a look, Hanru, using electronical resources, have a look for 1 ton. Or if you want to see some other big guys, there's been lots of, there was another, I'm trying to think of the name of another well-known big tusker outside of the Kruger. But if you have a look, Hanru, at the Magnificent Seven, who were world-recognised tuskers throughout the greater Kruger region, I think the smallest of any of their tusks was about 40 kilograms. And struggling to get scale. Over 2 meters long, they can get really big. Often genetics. A sad fact is indeed that over many years of hunting or poaching, some of the big tuskers have been removed from the gene pool, which can reduce the number of further tuskers. Some elephants have no tusks. Again, a genetic thing. And I read somewhere recently that there are increasing numbers of tuskless elephants in Africa, possibly as a nature-created adaptation. But yeah, they can get big. Hanru, have a look at the Magnificent Seven. Let's go across to Rosie's pan there. Lenny, you don't think you've seen as many elephants here all at once before. There's here at Shalati, or just in general, I think just in general, I've never seen so many elephants on the cameras as we have today. They're absolutely, and again, at Rosie's Pan, today is definitely an elephant day, and they're all in the water. I've never seen elephants in the water here. I wonder why all the elephants are going in the water at the moment. All different locations. And go weeks, months without seeing any elephants sort of really in water when they just sort of stand around a bit. I wonder if it's an environmental factor or something.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo. This is action-packed.
Centimetre of that immense body perfectly with mud or water. They go under their armpits and behind their ears and under their belly and between their front legs, between their back legs. Erica, oh no. National Elephant Spa Day. Yeah, there's definitely some elephant spa-ness going on everywhere today, it would seem. I'm just mildly curious as to why everyone's getting in the water recently. I don't recall that being as common they'll often sort of stand like this elephant is doing in the middle now. I've seen lots of elephants do that, but many of them have been getting in really deep, and I'm pondering why that might be. Karen, you're asking, what's my favourite spot in Africa for nature? I do enjoy the Kruger Park. It's I've got a zebra migration in my garden, in my stat. I think there's not too many zebra here, but they normally walk past twice a day, and they go to the dam to drink, and then they wander back in the afternoon. They're quite late today though. There's about 10 zebra that walk past here. It's very cool. So Karen, maybe I should say my garden. But I guess it's got to be anywhere in the Greater Kruger is the best I've known, or the most. But maybe it's because I've spent the most time there. There's lots of places in Africa that I haven't been to that are definitely on my list. All of the Central African countries. I've never been to Kenya or Tanzania, depending on how you pronounce it. There's so much more. I've got a good friend who's in the Central African Republic at the moment, and he's seeing such cool things. So I can only give you what I've got to go on, really. And I would probably say that the Greater Kruger, I enjoy the sands. But I don't know yet. How's about that for an answer, Karen? When I've explored all of it, I will come back to you and let you know. It's all very peaceful and calm today. There doesn't seem to be too many discussions between these elephants. Food resources are definitely declining. Could be why there's lots of calm. No one wants to expend any more energy than they need to on roughing and tumbling, although there's been some definite rolling around and play in the water. But this is actually a very peaceful scene here with these elephants. Kathy, you're saying they look mildly depressed. They might be. They might be a bit fed up. Maybe they're just chilled. Maybe it's because it's a warm day. On this workshop I came back from last week, we were doing behavioural assessments on various animals and seeing what sort of See, look, is that elephant got his trunk in that? Oh, this is going to make me laugh. That elephant's got his trunk in a trunk. Oh, I'm so childish. But I've quite enjoyed that. It's playing with the trunk, with his trunk. Oh, is it? It looks like he was reaching inside there, but we were doing behavioural assessments on emotionality of animals and looking to see how they were feeling, what their behaviour was showing us. I think they just look relaxed, to be honest. They might be a bit hungry, they might be a bit fed up. But we are definitely having a elephant-filled couple of days. Oh, is there another one going to come in now and shake everything up? Hannah, you're asking, will elephants eat flowers? I think so. Yeah, I think they will. I don't recall ever seeing sort of an elephant standing somewhere and specifically plucking flowers off things. But they'll eat most things, to be honest. They have to to get enough nutrients in. But whether or not, my gut feels like they would, and my gut feels like they would quite enjoy them. I'm just trying to recall. Certainly, if acacias or if something's flowering, they don't eat around the flowers. They will just grab that branch and eat it. But I'm just trying to think if there was sort of a flower. No, I don't even think they'd bother just picking individual flowers. They might. They'd just eat everything. They'd just eat the plant, I think. Flowers and all. Sorry, there's a couple of breakups here on the screen. I think we're just having a little bit of a glitch here on the old Rose's pan camera. There really isn't much. These elephants aren't up, but it's quite unusual that they would just stand like this. Deborah, you're asking, wonder why they don't walk into the shallows and lie down. We've been seeing elephants doing that a lot earlier on at Tembe, certainly at Tembe yesterday, also at Serendella. And I don't know. It's not a... Oh, I've seen it lots of times, elephants lying down. Well, I've seen elephants not lying down in water more often than I've seen elephants lying down. And I don't know what the reason for that is. It's not particularly easy for them to get up and down for a start. So maybe the energy efficiency isn't right for them to get up and down all the time. But it's if I watched elephants at a pan 100 times, I would say they would get in and lay down 5 times out of that. That's a massive sweeping generalisation. But they don't. I don't know why they don't do it more, Deborah. It's an excellent question. Because that splashing and picking water up and throwing it over themselves, while it is effective, does take energy. They have to use muscle energy from their trunks. But yeah, I've been surprised. We've been seeing it a lot, and like I've said before, I've seen more elephants doing it in Thornybush than I have anywhere else, pretty much. Recycled Teenager UK, elephant lunchtime siesta. Yeah, very much so. And remember, elephants are quite emotional. They have strong bonds, strong friendships, however you want to call it. They do spend a lot of their time feeding because they have to get enough nutrients. So maybe this just is a quiet time amongst friends.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an artwork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is James. He's driving, yeah. You gotta be holding on back in there, yeah? Like in bumps, and I mean, it happens when, these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving, yeah. You gotta put your seatbelt.
Hyenas love bathing.
How cool is this?
The more, same with humans, if you've had a bad day, you're much more likely to snap at your partner just before bed than if you've had a beautiful day. And it could be that these elephants have had an excellent day. and they've found some delicious food, and now they're having a good chill. But environmental factors cause emotions, and those emotions are what we see in behaviours. So possibly Anton lion pride. Well, the Fence West isn't actually far from me. I didn't hear any reports of any escaped, not last night anyway. No elephants roving around town. See, back here to Camelthorne, there's still plenty of zebra here, streaming down for a drink. I'm interested to see, that huge elephant bull that was here earlier, is that him on the left there still hanging around? But they've definitely got a in-out flow going. This is very cool to see all these zebra gathering here at Camelthorne. And are they taking it in turns? I'm trying to see what all those zebra up at the top of the hill are doing. Are they waiting and coming and going, or is it just sort of a loitering? Because I'm sure there would be loose different family groups within this lot. I'm trying to see if it's different family groups taking it in turns. That sounds really weird. It's almost echoing. Look, that elephant on the right there's lost the end of its tail. I wonder what happened there. Is that big bull facing away from us? See, someone asked earlier, sorry, I can't, who was it? Raymond asks, are the elephants the only mammal to disturb the water before drinking? No, those zebra, look, they're stood in the water while they're drinking. Possibly inadvisably, in my opinion, but my opinion is not really relevant here. Huge numbers coming down. Erica Oldknow, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you've enjoyed my stream of consciousness. That's literally what you all get when I do this. But it's about the pondering, it's about the thinking outside the box. I don't enjoy that phrase. It's not a lecture. It's really important for everyone to get involved in the conversation. I'm going to. My homework for this evening is currently breakdown of various buffalo taxonomy and can elephants get piles? Anton Lion Pride, thinking about all the cameras at the waterholes, it should be fascinating to see what types of nocturnal animals also come to drink at the waterholes featured. Absolutely, they're live. They're live all the time. Anton Lion Pride, jump in, get hooked. There's all sorts of stuff that goes on under the cloak of darkness. I know lots of people that often just have it on in the background, have a glance at it every now and again while they're doing some housework or some washing up, and you never know, you'll glance over your shoulder and see a leopard coming down for a drink. That's the joy of these cameras, and all completely uninterrupted. We have no impact on any of them. It's actually very therapeutic, but Anton Lion Pride, it can be quite addictive. You can get quite deeply sucked into some of the things we see. I know I'm slightly obsessed with one of the little chicks we've been watching at the moment. I keep meaning to jump in and have a little, and you might watch for days, weeks, and not catch anything, and then you nip to the bathroom and come back and you've missed a leopard. But that's the fun of it. I've actually realised now I enjoy the looking more than the finding, I think. I've been very fortunate that I've seen many epic things. I've seen lots of leopards, I've seen things hunting, I've seen mating, all sorts of things. And it's incredible to see. But when I drove down through the Kruger a couple of weeks ago, just the looking, just the chance that you might see something, it's almost disappointing when you find something, because then you've seen it and it's finished. For anyone that's interested, have a look at Jack Panksepp and his interpretation of the mammalian seeking system that drives behaviour. And for me, scanning backwards and forwards, side to side, left to right in the Kruger, sometimes often completely on my own, in complete silence, just that anticipation that anything could happen at any moment is what really does it for me. If you hear alarm calls, if you stop to look at something, you're like, oh, is there a, oh, I'm not sure, maybe there's a, and even if there's not, it almost doesn't matter to me anymore. Once you've seen it and it's finished, and then you have to start looking for the next thing. But yeah, that not knowing, that anticipation is my favourite bit now.
Oh, wow.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
It's probably not the oddest thing I've ever seen, but a strange thing I saw recently that I can dig up from the dregs of my wildlife memory banks was when I was in the Kruger last week, and there was a slender mongoose. And slender mongoose, if anyone is aware of slender mongoose, they normally run across the road and then they disappear. It's their standard MO. And a slender mongoose ran across the road and stopped. And I thought, that's weird. And I thought, it's going to go any second now. And I went to grab my camera. And it sat down. And then it laid down. I was like, that's weird. Just sort of at the edge of the road, like in the shade of a little bit of grass, but on the sand. Oh, that's unusual. So I took a couple of photos. And then a second slender mongoose ran from the other side of the road. And I thought, they're both going to run off into the bushes now. And the second one didn't either. And it also stopped and laid down flat on its belly like I can't think of what lays flat on its belly, like a mongoose laying flat on its belly. And they both sat there and looked at me, both laying down, one sort of laying down like a cat and the other one with its little stumpy front legs and its little stumpy back legs sort of stretched out on the side of the road in the sand, and just looked at me. And I thought, it's weird, they don't normally do that. So, not really, not like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But definitely something I hadn't seen before. I spend, even on here. Oh, there was something I saw the other day. It's actually on one of these cameras. It was a hippo laying down on top of a crocodile, and it was quite a big crocodile. And I thought, well, that must know that's there. what was he doing that for? But I frequently say, well, that's a bit weird. Never seen that before, but that's the joy of it. That's the beauty of it. If it was always the same thing doing the same thing in the same way every time, we would, all of us watching, we'd all get bored quite quickly. But as we said at the start of the show, there's stuff happening all the time. Jake, you're moving into the realms of yesterday. What was the discussion yesterday? Would a lion? I can't remember. There's a hippo and an elephant, I think, in a battle. Would this amount of zebra keep a lone elephant away? As in, would they not come to drink? No, I don't think so. I think if an elephant wanted to come to drink, it would just walk through everything. The zebra wouldn't fight the elephant away. Could they? Possibly. If they all sort of ganged up and started kicking and biting, possibly. But it wouldn't happen. If an elephant decided to walk through a kilometre's worth of zebra to get to water, they would just part, I think. Anton Lion Pride, I love the call of Africa. Me too. I was going to say the sound of zebra, the sound of a fish eagle, who then politely dropped in a call at the same time. Hyena, synonymous with the nighttime in the African bush. Hanru, you're asking, do zebras like mud? They don't seem to particularly. They don't roll in mud like rhino do, or buffalo sometimes enjoy mud, or elephants will cover themselves with mud. These zebras that are walking now are covered in mud because it looks like they had to cross something that was muddy, which is surprising because horses often roll in mud, sticky, disgusting mud, because I've had to try and debud many horses over the years. This is a different big bull now. Watch. I think those other two are going to get out of his way. He's going to give him a shove. Watch. Dust. They're much more likely to roll in dust. They prefer dust to mud, Hanru, from what I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen a zebra properly rolled in and covered in mud. It can also be quite sticky. I know from horsey days that equines can have zebra don't, they run over rocks. But there's also the potential of them getting stuck in mud. It pulls on their legs. They've got quite skinny legs. Deep, thick, sticky mud can be a problem for getting stuck or pulling tendons, that sort of thing. I know with horses, we all used to be terrified that horses walking through deep or thick or heavy mud would pull tendons, and they did sometimes. I mean, zebras are a different ball game. If there's any horsey people watching, don't watch too carefully when these things gallop across rocks. And I know my migrational zebras that walk through my garden, sometimes there's lots of rocks here as well, and I hear them clomping and clunking over these rocks. I'm like, oh, mind your legs. But yeah, completely different ball game. So if you're a horse rider with thoroughbreds, don't watch zebras too carefully because you'll get nightmares. Well, we are nearly out of time again, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining in today. We've seen many elephants, some delightful zebra here as well. Hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. I will be back with my homework. And take care. Bye bye.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another sunrise safari. Thank you for joining us. My name is Leon van Wyk, and on the camera with me is Mpo, and we are hoping to show you an elephant giving birth this morning. How's that for being ambitious? Anyway, we're not the only ones out here. We've also got Amy and Panda at Sandringham, and all the way down in the Eastern Cape, Ralph and Morgan. So we're hoping to show you some good stuff today. So good to be back here. It's still got a little